Okay, match number 1. And we unfortunately drew 2 Selesnya Sanctuaries, so we effectively have no lands that we can play. So we're going to have to mulligan this hand. Alright, Colony Garden into Essence Warden, and then we can start trying to get these other spells online. I think this is good enough. Definitely don't want a white spell. We'd like some land at this point. Alright, they lead with a Polluted Mire. Not really sure what this indicates. Possibly Tron. Tron is more inclined to run the cycling lands that cycle for 2 mana since it costs them less, but I don't really remember seeing any versions of Tron that want black lands, so guess we'll have to wait and see what this is. Alright, we did not draw a land, so hopefully we will next turn. Quambage Witches. Okay, so this looks to be mono black. So it makes it weird that they're running the Polluted Mire, because Barrenmoor cycles for a single black mana, so if you're mono black, then Barrenmoor is strictly better, but they might not know about Barrenmoor, or they might already be maxed out on all 4 of them, or they might, I don't know, might not be mono black. Alright, so luckily for us, this plant token helps against Edict effects. Unluckily for us, this Quambage Witches is going to start killing our creatures one at a time. So, giving away one toughness creature here, and I get to do a damage to them in the meantime, and then I get to Journey to Nowhere this Witch is next turn, since it is pretty good against us and we can't let it survive. Alright, they go ahead and take down our Essence Warden. Journey to Nowhere before they get to do that again. Boop. Colony Garden. And now they don't, hopefully they don't have another Quambage Witches. We have our Presence of Gone half of the combo. See what our opponent is discarding to hand size on turn 4. Phyrexian Rager, so this looks like a typical mono black deck. Spider Silk Armor could be good. Unfortunately, they probably don't run Shrivel main deck. They most likely run Crypt Rats and Pestilence, which both can kill our creatures regardless of their toughness. It would just require a little bit of an additional mana once we resolve the Spider Silk. We could either Essence Warden and then buy back the Sprout Swarm. We could Essence Warden Soul's Attendant. Alright, for now, I'm just going to Essence Warden and hold open the buyback on the Sprout Swarm. I could also go Soul's Attendant main phase Sprout Swarm, which would allow me to get one more creature onto the battlefield, but it would be a lot worse against Crypt Rats or Pestilence. Then again, if they're stuck on lands, maybe I should just try to attack as quickly as possible. And let's be greedy. Let's pretend they don't have any board wipe effects like Crypt Rats or Pestilence in hand. And let's just go ahead and do this main phase. In response, they're going to Victim of Night our creature. Alright, so they shoot down our Essence Warden. That single target removal does indicate that they probably do not have a board wipe in hand. Phyrexian Rager, okay. Pallid Mycoderm, okay, we can't quite resolve that yet. I don't particularly want to have a non-infinite Presence of God at the moment. I could do it. I could put it on a plant token. Or I could just cast Sprout Swarm this turn. I could also Journey to Nowhere the Phyrexian Rager and then buy back Sprout Swarm. I think I'm going to save the Journey to Nowhere in case they have a Quambage Witches. I don't really care that much about them having a 2/2. They're hitting the land drops now. No blocks from us. Chittering rats, okay. Alright. Cast with buyback. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at this point, I could Journey to Nowhere the Chittering Rats because it provides 2 devotion for Grey Merchant. And them attacking me for 4 a turn is a lot worse than 2 a turn. I could play Spider Silk Armor and hold open Sprout Spawn with buyback. Still can't play Pallid Mycoderm. I think I'll take this turn to resolve Spider Silk. This also lets me double block a 2/2 with 2 1/1s. And only trade a single 1/2 or a single token with one of their 2/2s, which is pretty bad for them, so it may encourage them not to attack me, which might be about as good as removing the Chittering Rats with Journey to Nowhere. Disfigure, okay. We're going to stop gaining life, unfortunately. Gurmag Angler. Okay, well we can chump block that. Or we can Journey to Nowhere it so we don't have to, which is probably the better option. Selesnya Sanctuary. Alright, we're going to go ahead and Journey to Nowhere. I really would love to save it for Colombage Witches, but I don't want to have to feed the Gurmag Angler a token every turn, because that just defeats the point of being able to go wide with Sprout Swarm. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to Selesnya Sanctuary, picking up our County Garden. And we're going to Sprout Swarm. And we're going to pass. And I'm leaving back this Sapling instead of attacking for 1, because like I said before, I can double block a 2/2. And if I can double block a Chittering Rats, for example, that'd be very good for me. They can blow me out with a removal spell, but then they're wasting a removal spell on a token, which I really don't mind so much. This gets 2 devotion off the table, which I definitely like. Unearth the Chittering Rats, okay. That must be why they were okay with trading. Chainer's Edict, okay. Sacrifice one of the plants instead of the sapling since they have 0 power. We get to finally resolve Pallid Mycoderm. Get to make another token. And let's see, I have 6 things, so I could attack with 1, but I can't through this 2/2, so I'll just pass. And now I have protection from Pestilence and Crypt Rats, as long as this Pallid Mycoderm stays around. Grey Merchant, okay, they're going to drain for 5. And they're not going to be trading anymore. Colony Garden, even more tokens, okay. Still no attacks. Still not wasting this Presence of Gond. Chittering Rats us. Okay. Chainer's Edict us. Okay. Let's go ahead and do this now. Do this again. Boop, and do this again. Okay. Sacrifice an O2. They could attack here, but then I could eat one of their chittering rats once again by just sacrificing a single sapperling. Make this one a 2/3, so it would essentially be trading a chittering rat for this. I'm not sure why they didn't attack at least with the Great Merchant, though. That probably would have been a good attack. Maybe they're staying back to block. I currently have 7, 8, 9 power, and let's see, how lethal can we get right now? So I can Sprout Swarm for 5. Sprout Swarm again by tapping a land and the new sapperling. So I can make 3 more sapperlings, so I can attack with all of these and have 3 more sapperlings ready to go. Sacrifice all of them and attack with, what is that, 4 apiece. They block 4 of them, and that basically rasps their board. Sounds pretty good to me. Alright, let us attack. I think we have lethal here. I'm pretty sure they at least have to block with all of their creatures. Alright, so this is how they're blocking. I'm currently attacking for 5, and every sapperling that I sacrifice gets in an additional 4 damage. So if I sacrifice 4 sapperlings, it's lethal. So even if I just sacrifice the ones that are tapped. But just to be safe, we're going to do it like this. Cast with buyback. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can save this in hand, or I can do it for 2. It does not really matter. So let's go. Sacrifice a sapperling. Boop. Sacrifice a sapperling. Boop. Sacrifice a sapperling. Boop. Sacrifice a sapperling. Boop. And what's the last one? This one? Alright, this should be lethal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3 is 15, plus 6 is 21. Double check so I don't mess up. 5, 10, 15, 21, and that's lethal. And we had the potential to do 4 more damage. And if I wanted to waste this Sprout Swarm out of my hand, another 4 on top of that, so 8 extra. Wow. Paladin Mycoderm is really good, isn't it? Alright, let's go to sideboarding. Okay, so we have a lot of choices here. Don't care about Aerial Volley. Don't care about Circle Protection Red, obviously. But the rest of these are all possibles. God's Willing is good against targeted removal. They appear to have the full 4 Chainer's Edicts, like most mono black decks. But this does protect against Disfigure, Victim of Night, so it could protect our midnight cards. Gleeful Sabotage against Pestilence is a good plan as well. It's possible for them to Pestilence and keep their Pestilence around because all their creatures are bigger. And then we're basically locked out of casting creatures ever until we are able to remove it. So I think I want to bring in some number of those. Spider Silk is also good, but it's not great against this deck because, like I said, they probably don't have Shrivel or Avacard Justice. They probably have Pestilence or Crypt Rats in the sideboard or main board, so this doesn't help that much. Journey against Kawambaj Witches is very good, so I think I'm going to bring in something like this, and what am I going to cut? Life Gain is a little bit worse against them. Scatter the Seeds is going to do a little bit less as well since they know it's coming and they probably have those effects. I'm going to cut one more thing. How about just an Essence Warden, and we'll submit. Alright, nothing but Journeys and a Mycoderm in hand, but I think this is still fine. We get a token here, which is nice against early Edicts. Oh, they're going to duress a Journey out of our hand. Well, hopefully they don't have multiple Kawambaj Witches, because otherwise we're going to really have needed both of these Journeys. This is also a good out to Sprout Swarm. Since they don't have any counter magic, and most decks don't have counter magic, Duress is a good way to get a Sprout Swarm from stopping being cast every single turn. Alright, so if we wanted to cast a white card turn 2, such as Journey, we want to play Sands now. I guess that's fine. Getting the 0/1 token down earlier doesn't really do all that much. And if they play Kawambaj Witches next, we're definitely going to want to Journey it ASAP since we can't cast creatures really until it's gone. Alright, Selesnya Evangel. I could cast this turn with a Forest, but then it would be exposing it to Diabolic Edict, Chainer's Edict for no good reason. And although they could have sideboarded those out since we're a token deck, I'm not going to count on it because those cards are still pretty good. So I'd rather just play a tap land here and get a plant down to block. Alright, they cycle Polluted Mire. And then they Sign in Blood. Alright. Now, oops, I'm supposed to tap that for white. Now I get to cast Selesnya Evangel. And I'm going to get another token down. And now, even through a Chainer's Edict, I'll be able to start activating Selesnya Evangel next turn. They just cycled a Baron Moor, so it does appear that they probably are maxed out on Baron Moors, which is why they're playing Polluted Mire. Colombage Witches, okay. Good journey target. Victim of Night. Well, that's not great for us. Alright, journey this off the table. Gone. Essence Warden, cast. Selesnya Sanctuary. Make some more tokens. Next turn I can play tap land and Pallid Mycoderm and get the spore counters started. Okay, Sign in Blood themselves again, down to 16. Phyrexian Rager down to 15. Journey to Nowhere. Well, I'd rather play the 4-drop right now. Better for the curve, and that's not something I need to remove necessarily. No attacks into the 2/2. And let's see what they can do with 6 cards in hand. Another Rager. They lose a life, we gain a life. Cycle of Polluted Mire, trying to hit that 6th land drop apparently. Duress us, okay, there goes the other journey. Which we didn't particularly need. It would have been nice, but it's not the end of the world. Midnight Guard, or another Mycoderm. It's nice to get these counters started as soon as possible. If I play this, then they have a choice of what they want to remove. I think I'd rather just play Mycoderm first. And I am going to play out my land, and the reason for that is Chittering Rats. If I draw another land next turn, then I want to be able to empty my hand so that Chittering Rats doesn't affect me at all. And if I keep the Forest, then there's a chance that I'll be stuck with cards in hand when I didn't have to be. This is worse against discard effects, so if they have a Liliana Spectre, I'm going to lose my Midnight Guard, where I could have protected it by discarding land instead. But they don't run that many discard effects in the deck, besides Duress out of the sideboard. Sometimes they run Wrench Mine, sometimes they run Liliana Spectre, but those are each less common. Echoing Decay. Alright, they're targeting a plant token. I can't do anything about that with the Pallid Mycoderm, since those only interact with funguses and saplings. Chainer's Edict, so they get to get a real creature. The life gain is nice, but most of the creatures have already come down. And these Mycoderms are very much better. Since they churn out 1/1s, and Essence Warden is only a 1/1 by itself. Selesnya Sanctuary, okay. Get to play a Midnight Guard. Sanctuary, once again, same reasoning as before. I'm playing out my lands against the Chittering Rats. I could attack these 2 forwards into that, but they could double block, and I don't really want to lose either of these. That wouldn't make any sense. Another cycle, 3 cards in hand, plenty of mana. Removal on this would be pretty annoying. Grey Merchant is not too bad. Gives them a little bit of life to work with. Get us ourselves a token. We can remove these 3 counters anytime we want for the Saproling. We don't have to do it right away. Second Gray Merchant for 6. That's still okay. Another one though, and we're going to be hurting pretty badly. So I could remove this now if I want to start attacking with it as early as next turn, but I don't really have anything to sacrifice yet, so I don't see the point of that. Another Pallid Mycoderm. Okay, well, I don't have anything else to do, so I'll cast it. No point in saving things in hand because of the Chittering Rats. Now we've got blockers forever. We have these 2 about to make a token whenever I want, and then every 3 turns after that. But unfortunately, we're getting drained for 8 here. No, yes, 8. Down to 8. So these attacks are coming. Tendrils will kill us. Tendrils can't hit the face. Corrupt could kill us. Another Gray Merchant could kill us. So I could make 2 Saprolings, attack with all 3 of these, sacrifice both of them, and then be 4 6s apiece, but that's not good enough. Attacking for 12 right now when they're at 32, and I'm so low on life total. See if they start attacking yet. Nope, not yet. Presence of Gond. Okay, alright, Moment of Truth. With your 2 last cards. They haven't had to use any targeted removal except for 1 Victim of Night and an Echoing Decay, if you can count that. They probably have something saved in hand, most likely. But if they don't, infinite creature time. Alright, it resolved. I want to wait till they make the first move to activate this, so I could do this on their upkeep, perhaps. I think upkeep would probably be the best. So they have to spend the removal spell on their turn if they're waiting. Boop. It'd be nice if we also had one of our Essence Warden or Soul Warden or Soul's Attendant, since we could get out of Corrupt and 4th Gray Merchant range right now. But we're just going to have to be content with infinite creatures. I think I'll make, let's see, assuming they're drawing removal, sorcery speed removal, and they have another one in hand, what exactly is a minimum number of tokens I want? I think I want like 40, so that even if they resolve a bunch of creatures, I can attack for lethal. Remember that these elf warriors do not work with the Pallids. I can't sacrifice them to the Pallid Mycoderms, and I can't pump them up with the Pallid Mycoderms. The Pallid Mycoderms only work with the other token cards. I'll come back whenever I have as many tokens as I want. Alright, I went with 50 tokens. That should be sufficient. Unless they burn us out this turn, we should have the win. Alright, they conceded, they didn't draw anything relevant, and we won the match. Excellent. On to match 2.